Hello everybody, this is Andy, and welcome to episode 14 of Omnifactory. Today, we have a lot to do, but before we do all that, which includes getting these tier 2 microminers and also some better circuits, let's explore what has changed since the last time. I filled in these two things. I don't know, one of these wasn't filled in definitely by the end of last episode, but I filled in them all, and we should be good on storage for a long time. The top 4 of these all have 16Ks, so they're going to store a lot of items. I cleared out a couple of machines here that we weren't using anymore, and I plan to update these to EV. Like, all of them will be updated to EV because I need all of these machines for one thing or another. These things have finished processing. A lot of them are pretty much done. They are working disabled, but those two in the end are not because they are essentially going to work forever. Right here, we have a deep mob learning area, and it's just kind of like a back alley type of deal. It's where I have my computers running, and the other side is more of it. And I decorated a little bit. I changed the structures for these a little bit. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about them, but slowly and surely I am decorating my base to make it look how I want it to. Yeah, I'm really not sure about how this area looks. I also started using this biomass to produce ethanol, and I'm using it more often now. Are you gonna finish up? Are you gonna throw some things in there? This produces ethanol, which is being made, or the biomass is being made up here by these breweries, except they're very slow because they're running at MV. What I want to do now is set up a bunch of these breweries at HV, and a couple of these guys at HV as well, so we can get ethanol faster. Ethanol is going to become very useful very soon because I'm using it now instead of the methanol. We use methanol in other places. Ethanol isn't being used at all. I'm using ethanol to make the biodiesel, which makes us nitrodiesel. And we've almost filled up this quantum tank, which is kind of crazy. Now, where is that biodiesel? Yeah, we're using ethanol to make biodiesel right here. Our biodiesel backlog is starting to get smaller, but we need to produce ethanol slightly faster at least, because it is, I think, used in a couple of different reactions. I also added this other blast furnace right here using copper nickel cables, which is processing us neodymium. Neodymium, not neodymium. I'm adding extra letters in there. I need this neodymium to turn into rods, to turn into magnetized rods to make the EV motors and the IV motors. That's pretty much all it's used for as far as I can tell, so 1,000 of it will actually go a long way. I got this from, where did I get this from? Oh yeah, the rare earths turn into small piles of these 6 things at a 25% chance, and since I'm running at HV, I think I get a slightly better chance, but I got like 1,000 of it from 2,000 rare earths, so we did pretty well there. First things first though, before we move into EV, let's produce power even better than we are. Right now we're consuming about 6,000 RF per tick out of each of these bad boys, and we are going to be consuming a lot more power than that because most of my machines are running at MV right now. We're going to add a lot more HV and EV machines very soon. So I have to do this. Let me place these down really quickly and upgrade them, and I'll be right back. And there we go, fully upgraded. These numismatic dynamos are producing us 300,000 RF per tick right now. However, let's go check something called, wow, I really overshoot that often, don't I? Diamonds. Diamonds are dropping. I used to have 65,000. Now we have that many thousand. So as you saw earlier in the episode, I completed this. This structure is done, and this is where these parts of the deep mob learning are just going to kind of sit for the rest of time. However, I'm going to need more deep mob learning. This pack requires a lot of deep mob learning, so let's find a new place to put some of these. And I'm honestly kind of thinking right here might not be the worst place. I do need something to put in here that's not going to take up very many blocks, and I think this might be just the thing. So I'll put my loot fabricators probably hidden in the ground like I did last time, and I'll throw my simulation chambers above them. It's honestly just cake that these 8 simulation chambers will fit perfectly within this little chunk that I've made. I mean, I didn't measure these out or anything, they're all basically just random. However, this is pretty cool. And here we go, 8 more Shulker data models set up. That should produce us enough diamonds to run even more and more dynamos should we desire them. However, I'm not really sure how many more dynamos we're going to use. I'm thinking we'll actually use some GregTech power generation options very soon. I might set up like another row or two of these just for late game so we can have like an extra couple hundred KRF per tick pretty much for free. But for now, this should keep us running for quite a while. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, all my computers used to be here for auto crafting. Those are now down here underneath where I have my interfaces, and so I have what, like 1, 2, 3, I have 8 computers all at 16K right now. We can expand these later if we want to, and we can also add more along this line if we want to. And I included maybe another 32 interfaces just so we can have probably enough auto crafting for the rest of the pack. So we solved the diamond problem. Now let's solve the ethanol problem. So I'm going to put, what, 4 of these on both sides, and then I will put the distillery right at the end. I might go ahead and make another distillery just for symmetry's sake, because, yeah, I'm not really about that. Whoa. So I'm not losing my mind here, right? I definitely placed those breweries. And now they're gone? Hello? Yeah, no, they're gone. The game just deleted them for some reason. I mean, it's not like they're expensive. I can go make more, but what? Better not do it again. Okay. Watch this. Ah, yes, my breweries, they're gone. Are they coming back into my inventory? No? Okay, let me restart the game. Okay, I restarted my game. I did spawn in myself a couple because, you know, I just lost 32 circuits. I think I deserve at least a couple of them back, and I guess they're placing now. Let's hope they stay. And there's the completed system. This took a little bit more work than I expected it to. However, we're now producing ethanol. It goes in here and then gets sent out to the network on a low priority, so it gets used up first. And this thing should never back up and never have any problems unless I run out of saplings. However, I did upgrade our farm a little bit, so we should have no problems with saplings. Let's go check that out really quickly. Where is... There it is. So I upgraded these to use vibrant capacitors, which means they're larger now, which means they couldn't stay where they were. So we are now producing canola at a pretty good rate. Why isn't there canola there? Come on, dude. Oh, he placed it. We're producing canola at a pretty good rate. I think this is keeping up, right? Oh, I just plungered it. Yep, this is keeping up. And this thing is producing wood at a significantly faster rate as well, which means we're no longer losing wood in our system. I don't remember if I told you guys that, but at the end of last episode, we were starting to lose wood. And now we're gaining wood quite quickly, so we should be fine. Also, I just expanded down here with the destruction gadget, so we have a slightly longer room. These first 2 lines right here are for very specific and important automations, blast furnaces, and then titanium. Maybe I'll throw another blast furnace or 2 right here, but I'm not really sure yet. And then the rest of the room is going to be made up of these smaller, more compact automations on shorter lines like this. So this is only going to have, each of these should only have like 1 thing on them. And over here, I'll do something else that pretty much uses up all these spaces for 1 thing. That's how I want to go forward. My automation over in the MV area is pretty messy because of just the way I structured it, and I don't want it to look like this going forward. So I want it to be a little bit neater and a little bit more compact. No one has ever accused my upstairs area of being very pretty. These things are a little bulky and not very pretty. This thing's floating, and now we just have a flat mass of land. I can fix one of those problems. This flat mass of land can now become 2 cryogenic air distilleries. So let me go ahead and, well, first of all, let's see how large these things are. Right here, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're 6 by 6 with this little guy in the center. Okay, I'm gonna build these up, and hopefully I won't have any problems. You know, these multi-blocks aren't actually very hard to like build or anything. They're just a lot of blocks, so they seem a little bit scary. And I think with that, I have pretty much finished. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Nope, I need 1 more layer, just like this, and then to cover along the inside, right? And then the multi-block should be formed. Okay, yeah, it formed. Okay, I just need to build up the second one, and we'll be ready to get distilling air. Hey, bud. You're not supposed to exist here. I have a mega torch. Alright, the distilleries are completed, and they're hooked up to power, The one main issue is they need to be, or well, the first one needs to be filled with liquid air, which is made in a vacuum freezer. So let's make another vacuum freezer. I'll put it like right here-ish. I think that should be good. I need an energy input in the back. It's 3 long, right? Hold on, let me go check. Yep, it's only 3 long. Oh, but this is in the middle block. That's why it looked weird. Can I get back up there, please? Thank you. And here is our big cold boy completed. And he's producing liquid air at EV. I originally had it running at HV. I brought it to EV because it's kind of slow, and I think this thing runs decently fast. And now I just need some fluid conduits, which we can grab from over here. Ender fluid, please. Let me go back, and I should be able to pump directly into here. Do I want to go underground for this? Maybe. I did decide to throw it underground, just a little bit underground, so it'll look just slightly nicer. This thing's running, this thing's filling up, and as soon as it hits, what is it, 53,000, it'll work and produce all its byproducts. So let's go ahead and wait for that to happen. This guy's pretty fast. Maybe I'll make him run it like ULV or something later, or not ULV, LUV later, but for now, this should be pretty good. Oh, and it's going, and yes, I was correct. It is fairly fast, and it should be dumping out its products right over here. Bunch of oxygen, tons of nitrogen, pretty little bit of noble gases, nothing apparently, and carbon dioxide, only a bucket. Okay, I need to pump out of these into tanks, and then we can pump the noble gases into this one. The process of putting these gases into tanks was, to put it lightly, a lot more annoying than I thought it would be. So I have to filter them each into the tanks because they don't come out of the same place every time. Feasibly, nitrogen could come out here where the tank is, or it could come out over here. It doesn't really matter. The thing doesn't check. It just shoves fluids into the fluid outputs, which is fine, I guess, but it's kind of annoying. And now I did route them over here, so we have noble gases coming over here. As soon as this gets to 53,000 buckets of noble gases, or 53 buckets of noble gases, we'll get all of these, and then I can set up filters for these, and we can start using them in the base whenever we need them. I needed some lapis to make these fluid storage buses. So I set up an autoclave right here, and I put this tank right on top, and then I made it auto-export into here. But it also started auto-exporting into here, and some fluid went into my system because I had one singular fluid storage bus that wasn't set. It was this one over here. It was oxygen. I never set it for some reason, and the water went right into here, and it was a little bit scary and also worrying. Make sure you set your fluid storage buses properly, or you will have a bad time, because I just spent 10 minutes going through all of my fluid storage things up there and making sure none of them were like flawed or anything. Alright, that's those systems set up entirely. We should never have to touch these guys again. I went ahead and set up the fluid storage buses, partitioned them, and we're just waiting for one of these noble gases things to run. We're at 34 buckets right now, so we should be able to come back later in the episode and set these fluid filters. It's not like anything's going to try and steal these gases from us. They're fairly rare, and we don't make them yet, so we'll be fine. But I would like to partition the storages for the same reason I just explained. Now let's spend some time working towards the second tier microminer, and this has to be made in the extended crafting table, tier 2, which is now made. I had everything for it, I just needed to do a little bit of crafting, and now we can craft. That didn't complete a quest, which makes me think that maybe in the mid-game here, or no, into the microverse here, yeah, I need to pick up these components. Let me grab these really quickly, and we will complete these quests. This right here is not something that I need for the second tier microminers. However, it's something we'll need later. This is an autoclave that's sole purpose is to autoclave dilithium dust, which we get from our tier 1 microminers, from this dilithium ore, into these dilithium crystals, which are used in 1, the ultimate gem, which we're going to need a lot of later on, and 2, the late tier microminers to get stuff like the Lair of the Chaos Guardian data, which can be used to get like chaos shards and dragon eggs and lots of important stuff later on, including neutrons, which are very expensive, actually. It's not until you get the creative tank that these become not the worst thing in the world. However, something we don't need right now, just something I wanted to set up really quickly because it only took 2 minutes. I'm thinking a good place to put these extended crafting tables, because they will get automated at some point in the very near future. Once we get to ivy, I think, once we get tungsten steel, I think is the gate for it. I'm gonna put them in the wall over here because I kind of want to like see them, and I don't really know where else to put them in my base. Over here, I would put them. However, I want to fill up this entire wall with these microverse projectors, the small ones, because we're gonna need more than one eventually. Only having one of them is a huge mistake and will cause us to waste a ton of time later on. So let me dig out a little bit of this wall, and we can set up a way to export the items for this microminer into a chest so we can craft it really quickly. Now you see here, in creating this recipe, I'm using an advanced technique called lying. And I'm going to do this just one time, just trick my system one time and then cancel the craft, get it all confused. And I'm going to order some spawner shards, and it should go to the chest over there with everything that I want. And it did it. It did the thing. We should just be able to craft up. Oh no. I forgot to add the field generators. I'll be back. And now, right here, this should be everything we need to craft the tier 2 microminer. Perfect. Our first tier 2 microminer. That should be a quest. Yes, it is. And it gives me 5 coins. Yay! Technically, we have 2 choices of the kind of mission that we can send this tier 2 microminer on. We can either make it go get a bunch of cool stuff like tungsten and I guess less cool stuff like copper, but bauxite's pretty cool too. Or we can make it get the stellar creation data. We're going to need a lot of this eventually. Also, I'm not making this stuff yet, and that sounds like a lot of work, though something I could technically do. I have a billion pieces of hydrogen. This isn't useful for a little while, so let's send him on the first mission. I have everything we need. We should just be able to go over here, break a piece of glass, sorry bud, and throw it in there and send him on his way. Good luck, bud. Alright, here we are. Slowly but surely, all of this stuff is flowing into our ME system. And that's the good stuff right there. This niobium, I've looked through its crafting recipes. It's almost entirely useless. It turns into these hot ingots, which turns into these. You'd think this would have a use. It doesn't. It can make hot niobium titanium. You'd think this might have a use. It's kind of hard to make, isn't it? It uses titanium. Nope, pretty much useless. So I don't know why we're getting this ore, but now we have it. So let's go ahead and set up processing for some of this stuff. Bauxite and tungstate I want to process. I also want to process scheelite, and I don't know if I want to process the cassiterite. Maybe I'll probably just go ahead and do it. Where is it? Right there. I'll be back in a moment. I am about to overload this system with new ores. It's not gonna know what hit it. It's gonna take a second to figure out what's going on. And these should all turn on, and they should get processing just fine and dandy. Okay, then we just need to come over here and, wait, no, we have to go into our interface and check the crushed ores. I'll do this all off camera. You don't need to see it, and you probably don't want to see it. See you in a minute. And there we go. Everything should be set up nice and good. Things that are getting purified are getting purified. Things that don't need to be aren't. There's actually a lot of things in this round of ores that don't need to be purified because I don't care about the byproducts, so I'm just crushing them immediately, which makes this process go a little bit faster. I also think it's time that these guys get upgraded to EV soon, but not right now. I just spent a couple of minutes setting up the recipes for the EV components, and now we should just be able to, just kidding, I forgot to set up one thing. Now we should be able to just request these, and if I do this, it should be actually fairly quick with all of the distributed stuff and crafting and everything that we've done so far. And it looks like the slowest thing is the neodymium rods, which it was only running on one machine, so that's fairly normal. Are there any quests for EV components? I haven't I haven't made these yet, have I? Let's go ahead and make the EV machine hull first, and then craft up a couple of these first tier 5 circuits so we can make the EV assembling machine. And there we have it, the first EV machine hull, and that is a quest completed. Next step, let's get the first tier 5 circuits. This is not actually that bad of a recipe. I have everything that I need to make it, and I think I actually have everything in storage to make it. Do I have... Yeah, I have 6 of these. Let me make 2 of the tier 5s. And these take a stupid amount of time to craft in the HV assemblers. However, they're now done, and we have our tier 5 circuits, which means we can make our advanced assembling machine right now. I just need to add the recipe for it in the mmmm system. Am I going to find it easy here, or is it going to be a pain? Wait, I just pinned it. Never mind. So this was much less of a grind than I thought it would be. I thought I was going to have trouble getting to the EV assembling machine by the end of this episode. However, fairly simple and fairly calm. I'm going to be back when this is done crafting. However, it shouldn't take all that long. The slowest part of the entire craft is actually these wires right here, which are still being made in my machine over here, which is running on MV power. Not the coolest thing. However, I think it just finished, and now we have our EV assembling machine. That's perfect. This is probably where we're going to chill for a little while. EV seems like a good place to automate because it's fast, but we should be able to distribute crafting fairly simple. Apparently I never held 16 nichrome blocks. Oh, because I never made them, because I only made the 8. Let's look at these circuits. Let's actually go ahead and leave circuits till next time, and for our final part of this episode, because I think we're right about at time, let's go over here and check and see, have these things ran yet? Have you not ran yet? Hold on, what's going on? You're almost full. Not enough tank space for fluid outputs. Hold on. Yeah, this one's my fault. I never hooked up the item conduits to send the fluids into the quantum tanks. However, let's grab a bucket of each for setting filters later, and I'll do this in between episodes. That should complete the Noble Gases quest, and we should be well on our way towards completing the mid-game age. Next episode, we can get a lot of this done, and we can maybe get into nuclear craft even. However, that's everything I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, maybe leave a like down below, or something like that. Subscribe, whatever, you know? It's how it be. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.